Guys, do you have any questions regarding yesterday's session?
Hi Venkat, actually I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
In my project, if database connector need to be used across the projects, how can I configure?
Yeah.
Like same database I'm using across different projects. Can I use the same mule flow? Like at one place, can I keep it common and I can use?
So that is whatever you did yesterday, that is across the project only. So so you
Uh-huh.
can you see my screen, right?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
So doing any point studio. Actually, what we did, so whatever you are doing that connector configuration, so that will come into the
Okay.
global elements actually. So that time automatically. So first time you suppose you did first time, second time you drag and
Okay.
drop that connector, automatically fill that configuration actually. No need to fill it once again. You understood, right? That means what? So already if you did one time, second time same application. If you drag and drop the connector, so database connector,
Okay.
it will
Okay.
automatically fill it. Suppose here, see this. Here in this application, I'm using almost 2-3 times the database connection. So database to JSON one thing, insert parameterized query, and then insert template query. All these things are pointing to same database, right? If you observe here in the global elements, that is there, right? In the
Okay.
global
Okay.
elements, I prepared it, right?
Okay. This is like under project, different kinds of files, right? Whatever we are
Different flows
seeing
actually.
here.
You are talking about within
Under,
application, right?
no, if across the applications, if I need to
Applications, yes.
refer,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
if I
is,
need to,
yes, understood.
I said projects, but I meant like
Yeah,
across applications. Yeah.
yeah, understood actually. So I told about there is a project called domain, right? Domain project is there. We have a project called domain project. While creating tab, so we have to create it as a domain project. Suppose across the application, in the sense, suppose I have a number of applications like you see this. I have multiple applications are there. On
Yeah.
top level we'll create one domain project actually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the domain
Okay.
project we can keep it a config, the global config you can keep it actually. So whatever the global things are there, we can push it here. The global project, we can push it here. Suppose in this case, I'm just push that HTTP listener is common for across the projects, right? So all the projects
Yeah. Yeah.
HTTP listener, each and every flow you are using, right? So
Yeah.
each and every flow we have to define the configuration, right? So that's why the HTTP listener configuration we push it into the high level, that is domain project actually. In the domain project
Okay.
we mentioned that HTTP listener, that is one thing. Another thing
Okay.
is there is an environment specific properties. So we not yet discussed that environment specific properties file. So still we are hard coding the things, right? So suppose yesterday we did so the database connection. In the database connection, so we hard coded actually configuration, but it should not like this. You understood, right?
Yeah.
So it should be, now
Yeah.
we are in a dev environment, it should belongs to dev database, right? If we are in a
Yes.
test environment, it should belongs to, its point to the test
Test.
database.
Yeah.
So
Test.
tomorrow
Yeah.
production, like that it should happen. So that's why we have to create an environment specific properties file. Okay. So each
Mm.
environment have a one separate property file should be created under resources actually. Whatever the things
Okay.
you are creating in resources, that should be in class path of your project. Okay. So like that,
Okay.
how many environments we have, so that many environment specific properties file we have to create it. Okay. So
Okay.
in the bottom here, mail project.xml is there, no? In the mule project.xml, we can mention it as a environment variables actually. Environment variables we can keep it. So in this case, whatever things I mentioned, so that is mentioned at API.properties. There is a property called mule API.properties under app. Okay. So here mule app.properties. Whatever I am defining here, all these things coming under environment specific actually. But so this should be might be changed, right, based on environment specific. Now these things also we can dynamically fetch it, but so each and every, I mean, people have different environments, right? That's why we should create environment properties file under resource. Like I will show you the example also. If you see this project, I'm opening this project. If you see under main resources, SRC main resources, I have a different environments like demo I have, dev I have, prod I have, QC and test. These many environments I have. If you go for project.xml, so in the project.xml, so we have a session for this. We'll discuss that time clearly. So now here mule.env equal dev I mentioned. So the time what happened?
Okay.
It will point to the dev environment. Yes. So here what I'm trying to say in the global config, so these things also we can push into the global level actually. The placeholder concept is there actually. The placeholder concept is this. So placeholder means for environment specific you will use the placeholder. Okay, so that's a class path slash API dot properties. So it will point to the specific environment property file actually. Okay, this is dynamic. Remaining property, remaining whatever you are mentioning, that properties file, it's a static only, but environment dev prod that should be dynamic, right? So these whatever the common things across the applications we can push into the domain project. So that is the use of domain project actually.
So how would that domain project is connected to the normal,
Yes. So here, while creating the project, if you see our project, so once we create the project, so same location actually in the mule project.xml. So there is no domain project. It's a default, right? It's a default, right? If we create a domain project, so if you see here, opening save file here. So mule project.xml. If you see here, observe here, there is a domain project. You point to the domain project. That is a connectivity between domain project and this project. So means so this is a child project of that. So whatever the things are defined there, it will it's kind of hierarchy and it's a hierarchy. It will fetch it. Okay. So two things here. One is across the project we have a common things. Okay. Across the applications we have a common things. Across the applications we can achieve using domain project. Across the project we can achieve using global level action. Global element is there. No? So using that. So that's based on best coding standards actually. What we followed, each and every application we kept it as a one global property file. See this, if you see here we created one global config.xml. In the global config.xml, whatever the things are common things are used in across the project, all are pushing into the this XML actually. If you see here, these are all common things. One is security thing, another one is this is again one more HTTP means it's a REST call actually. Another one is this is create service consumer. This is also one more SQL, MySQL. So this is across the application actually. Like this we follow. So based on architect decision actually. So here one global config is there, and again top level across the applications we have one more config level, one more global config is there actually. Okay, this
it's under domain.
Yes, yeah. Is it clear?
Yeah, and one more question. Like, if I have, can I have only one domain project or multiple domain projects?
Should be one.
It should be one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So if you actually for actually that is based on so my projects all my projects belongs to uh, one one area actually. It's kind of sales. Think like this is a sales domain, right?
Okay. Okay.
So all sales related
Mm-hmm.
applications have one domain project. If there is other thing, right?
Okay.
So there is it's kind of CRM application integration, right? So all
Okay.
applications are
Okay.
coming under that domain. So that is segregation happened like that actually.
Okay. Okay. Domain. Okay.
Mm. Or else you can keep it same domain also. There is no issue, but it should be one only.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So any other questions? So guys, other people have any questions? So please practice it. Otherwise, so nowadays full boom is there on MuleSoft actually. You can start just prepare resume and so keep it in Naukri. You will get calls. So attend the interviews also. I mean, don't attend MNCs just for testing purpose. You can attend normal companies. So because more boom is there on this. So exclusively US and UK and Australia clients actually. Prepare
Um,
it, you will get questions. So if you attend the interview
Venkat,
also, yeah,
usually,
yeah, tell me.
usually with the Mule tool, I mean MuleSoft
Any
tool,
point studio.
uh,
Yeah.
what are the Java, yeah, any point studio tool.
Hmm.
I mean, what are the Java concepts? I mean, we should be thoroughly prepared, like, I mean,
Actually, that's a core
for
Java is enough
custom
actually. Yeah. Plain
core
core
Java is
Java is
enough.
enough actually. In that collections is enough. Because here, so
Oh,
we
okay,
are always
okay,
playing with the data, right? We are getting payload
yeah,
that will convert
okay,
into one format to another format. Already we have a transformers. If you see here, so from the this database always give it as a some object, right? Java object
oh,
it
yeah.
will give it actually. It's
Yes,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
map, okay.
okay,
But client was expecting JSON format. So client in the
okay,
sense that is a GUI, right?
yes, yeah,
So the JSON format is a less weight, right?
yeah,
Lightweight, and they can
mm,
easily convert it and they can easily show into their interface actually. And then
okay,
even mobile also. So mobile apps also will expect JSON only always, right? So they can
yeah,
easily convert it that to lightweight, and again they can easily show in the interface because always they are familiar with JSON. People are familiar with the JSON. So that's why we have
okay,
already they gave for the transformer object to JSON. They gave a transformer. Simply we are
okay,
getting an object. We are converting into
okay,
object to JSON. So then they can get it as a JSON. So think like
okay,
this. We are unable to convert into the JSON. Suppose think there is no component here. In this location, we
okay,
have to customize it actually. Suppose we have almost all components are there. So
okay,
sometimes like so there is a batch job is there. So batch job always expect array list actually. For converting array list, there is no component.
okay,
Converting array list, there is no component. Byte
mm-hmm,
array is there, and then these are all things are there, but there is no conversion. There is no existing component for array list actually. Converting array list. That time,
okay,
uh, if you are getting directly output from the database, then we can push it as it is actually for batch component. But whereas in you are getting as a input, okay, that time you
okay,
have to take care. We have to convert into array list. So in the batch job,
okay,
it will expect three parts actually. So just drag and drop this batch. So if you see here in the batch job, three parts are there: input, batch step, and like an on complete. So this input always expect array list. So so if you are familiar with the core Java collections concept, you know how to convert into the array list, right?
okay,
So
mm,
it's always plain core Java is enough. So if you
okay,
want to write with XML, right? If you see here,
yeah,
um, so this is a suppose think like this. Your client not agree with this AnyPoint Studio, so they have separate IDs called there is a IntelliJ one ID is there actually. Exclusively UK
Mm-hmm.
people are using that IDE.
Mm-hmm.
So that time there is no drag and drop actually. So there is no drag and drop feature.
Okay.
So that time how we'll write the code?
Okay.
So we should depend on this XML only, right? You can write it XML. If you click control space bar, it will give suggestions actually. So this
Mm-hmm.
actually this if you are familiar with Spring is there, no? Spring concept.
Oh, yeah.
If you are familiar
Okay.
with that, so then you can easily write
Okay.
the code in XML actually. Spring Bean
Okay.
concept. So if you observe here,
Okay. Okay.
this database is there, no? If you are familiar with the
Mm-hmm.
database, you can achieve that way also. If you are familiar with Spring, simply you can create a Spring Bean. Observe here, there is a radio button called
Yeah.
configure via Spring Bean.
Yes. Spring.
If you are
Okay.
familiar with a Spring, so then simply
Mm-hmm.
create the Spring Bean here. Spring Bean here,
Okay.
it will support it actually.
Okay.
That two things, if it's an add-on kind of thing if you're aware of Spring. So then for this
Okay.
conversion and all, that the plain Java code is enough, that core Java is enough
Okay.
actually.
So advanced Java concepts more are covered in the transformers itself, right? I mean, like connecting to database like Hibernate. If you take, it will be covered in the connectors, whatever
Yeah, that is
predefined in
already,
the,
yeah, that is already predefined actually. So if you
yeah,
see all
predefined
the
in this.
characters,
So,
whatever
okay, yeah.
characters, no need to write any code actually,
No,
just you
yeah.
need to
Okay.
configure it, that's it. Whatever
That's
the
it. Yeah.
connector, yeah, whatever the connector, we should be configured, we should aware it actually. So
Okay.
what was the configuration, how we'll do it, well, suppose if it is the
Okay.
HTTPS, we should pass that authentication, right? Username and
Oh, yeah.
password, HTTPS, we should aware about that.
Okay. Okay. So finally, usually, business logic, we might be writing, right? I mean, in the if we can't achieve through connectors,
Yes,
only that cases
custom.
we are going to write in
Hmm.
Java.
That's
Mostly we'll be using in
mostly,
core
yeah,
Java.
mostly we can achieve existing things only because
Okay.
we need to find out actually. So everything we can achieve through connectors, through
Okay.
existing components. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So if it is rare case actually, we'll go for customization. So
Oh,
first
okay.
we have to
Mm-hmm.
check it actually. If not there, then we'll go for why I'm saying like that. Suppose your
Okay.
client already say he took the enterprise level, he took it actually, right? So if it is like
Okay.
that, he will buy it actually enterprise version. So
Oh, okay.
anything goes wrong server side or else your flow side, they should responsible for that actually. If a P1
Okay.
P2 issue will come, so they will give
Okay.
the credentials for us. Anything goes wrong,
Mm-hmm.
we'll raise a ticket
Okay.
actually.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and that is
Okay.
one thing. And another thing is, suppose uh, here we are using a database connector. Okay, think
Okay.
like this. We can use a Java transformer here. Same code we can write it, right? So
Yeah.
there is a Java database connection is there. We can write the code. We can achieve it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
compared to our code, these people are
Okay.
so well tested, and again they've implemented well exception handling also, right? So that's
Yeah.
why, so whatever they written, the each and every connector we can achieve through
Okay.
Java code, but
Okay.
so it's better to use existing things. Actually, they well tested, and again, in future we
Yes.
don't get any performance issues also, right? So
Okay.
because they
Yeah.
handled everything thoroughly, and again they released it, right? So that's why it's
Yeah.
better to use whatever the things are available. So we have to go for
Okay.
that. Actually, if not there, so then the particular thing is not there. We are unable to achieve our customization. So there is no other way. Then we will go for customization, that is Java code.
Okay.
So that to
Okay.
some of the client, we need to justify it as actually why you are writing the Java code, because these
Okay.
people are already by the enterprise version, right? So they should
Yeah.
support it for each and everything.
Yeah.
If not there, we can write the Java code, and the superior level there is a code reviews there, no? Each and every
Yeah.
component we should explain it actually why you are using the Java code
It's
already
Java.
there.
Okay.
Particularly if
Mm-hmm.
already database connector is there, why you are writing the Java code? So we should justify
Okay.
this, because of this is I'm not achieved sorry, because this is I'm unable to achieve that using existing connector. So if it is like that, we can escalate it actually. So they will raise to mulesoft people. Mulesoft people will respond it. Whatever the things
Okay.
are not achieving, they will implement it actually. They have a team.
Okay.
Always they are implementing the new things and existing thing corrections they are doing actually. So
Yeah.
they will implement it. But suppose in the database thing we are unable to achieve, so there is a one more database newly for only your client specific is there, you are unable to achieve it. So they will respond it actually.
Okay.
They will respond it. They will implement
Oh,
it
okay.
also because so we are buying a we are I mean client already buy that enterprise edition, right? So that's the thing
Okay.
actually. So they will, I mean, in one
Okay.
of the case we faced that one actually in the database earlier time actually before 1 year. So there
Mm-hmm.
is a bug in this.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
for only for Cisco they implement things. Then again they deployed it actually
Okay.
once again they
Okay.
deployed it,
Okay.
and that time we used
Mm-hmm.
it actually. And
Okay. And
again,
for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm doing one project and I am using their connectors and my code.
Hmm.
Okay. If I got a problem,
Hmm.
if I couldn't be able to, I mean, I can be able to debug only my code, right? I mean, if there is a
You can
problem
debug
in
it, no?
the, yeah, but
Can
it takes
debug
time. I
their
mean, like,
code also. We can debug their
it,
code also. You can see now everywhere you can keep it
yeah, their
debug.
code also we can
Mm,
debug, but it
mm.
takes time, right? Comparatively, like,
Debug in the
so
sense
I mean,
we are
finding,
not going their Java code actually. So the connector level only we
okay,
are keeping. If you that's
okay,
what actually. So in the Java code, if they already implemented well exception handling actually. Any
okay,
issue coming in the particular component, they will clearly give the root cause actually. If you observe
okay,
here, suppose here in this case, suppose anything goes wrong here in the URL, so right, so you can test here
okay,
itself actually, test connection. Suppose if it is not
okay,
coming here also in the console is there, no, in the console they've clearly written actually that exception stack trace is there, no, that stack trace will come,
okay,
so based on that we'll understand.
okay.
Once you write a Java code, you will implement the exception strategy, right? Any exception goes wrong,
Yes,
if you
yeah,
suspect in
yeah,
your
yeah,
code, you will write an
yeah,
exception. In the exception, I will catch that exception. We will write a e dot print stack trace kind of thing. You will written, right? That based on the
yes,
print stack trace, we can identify this is the issue. Then we'll rectify it, right? If it is possible, right? So similarly, they
yes,
already implemented each and everything actually. So we'll get it.
okay, okay. So, I mean, what I meant
Hmm.
to ask is, if it is a tool problem,
Hmm.
how we are going to catch those kind of things, like,
Actually, nowadays there is no tool problem because this is stable. Earlier,
okay,
this is a 6.2.2. So the
yeah,
6.2.3 also came in now. So
okay,
earlier like 5.6 like that, even I was facing the issue. So sometimes debug is not working.
okay, yeah,
Sometimes that type of issues in the earlier version, but it's totally stable actually because
yeah,
nowadays more clients are using. So it's almost all stable actually, all the
okay,
features.
okay, okay, okay,
This is also, actually once you buy it, they will give one settings.xml actually, one XML
okay,
file they will share it. That we have to keep into the Maven.
okay,
Okay. So
mm-hmm.
that will add it actually. So this that time this is also it's enterprise actually.
Okay,
Mm, it won't expire then. So until unless your license is expired.
okay,
If it is that critical issues P1 P2 kind of thing, so we can raise a ticket actually. We can raise a ticket to the
okay,
mulesoft. Okay, and there is a separate team is there. They will respond us actually.
okay,
So whatever the issue, they will ask some questions. We need to fill it clearly the questions and all. So once they will
okay,
identify, so then they will clearly say actually, if it is really a bug, they will tell
okay,
us actually you can download next version that that issue resolved. So that kind of thing, or else suppose we are
okay,
still using 6.2.1, so they will suggest us you why don't you use next level. That kind of thing they will suggest us.
Okay. Like for already, for example, if for the previous versions, how we are going to take care in real time, like I mean, my previous project, I was application I was done in different environment. I mean, different version.
Okay.
Now they released some other new version due to some bugs in that.
Hmm.
So already for released applications, we are not going to do anything, or
No, no, we can
and
migrate it
usually
now.
how?
We can migrate it.
Okay, okay,
We can migrate the
okay,
MMC. We can migrate the existing
okay.
applications. We can migrate it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a feature
Okay,
is there. We can migrate it. Even MMC also you can migrate it. Now
okay,
MMC in the sense actually they have different things while deployment. We have a concept actually
okay.
deployment concept.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Okay,
three ways of deployment. One is cloud deployment. That is one thing.
okay.
If you
Mm-hmm.
see on the each and every project, we'll get a deployment mode actually. One is cloud deployment. Another one is there is a let's see deploy to cloud.
Yeah,
We have the option.
okay. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Another one is that on premises. On premises also we can deploy it actually. So for that, so they provide uh, any point standalone server. There is a standalone server
okay.
is there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are deploying in the JT server, right? By default, it will associate with the
Yeah.
JT server. We deploy. But in on-premises, we have a we can download from that. So how it will happen? I will show you. So there is a TCAT server. There is a
Mm-hmm.
TCAT server. It's nothing but a Tomcat server. Okay, na?
Okay.
In the
Mm-hmm.
TCAT server, they will provide the concept called. You aware of Tomcat, right? You people are aware
Yeah,
of. I'm
yeah,
talking.
very.
So, I'm, guys, I'm asking all the people only. So this web apps is there, no? So in the web apps, we can keep it that mmc.war file. There is a mule management console. MMC in the sense mule management console. We have to keep it that MMC under TCAT server. See this here. I kept it as a MMC console. There is a mule management console. War file. I kept it as a under Tomcat actually. So you aware of Tomcat, right? Whenever you Tomcat so up and running, this will get unzipped. So it will place like this section MMC console. They already implemented actually this MMC console, which is simply just deployed into the web apps. So how it will come? That GUI will come actually. So this is the MMC actually. So if you install that one, we'll get MMC like this, Mule Management Console. Okay. So in this Mule Management Console, we can able to deploy the things. Here is the deployment. So whenever you uh, deploy this MMC will deploy in the Tomcat server. If we run the Tomcat server, we'll get this application. Okay, na? This is provided by MuleSoft itself actually. On premises, if you want to deploy it, so we have to do these things. So this MMC you can download from the Google itself. I mean from the uh, uh, this MuleSoft itself, MuleSoft side itself. You just placed into the Tomcat. Tomcat also you can download from there. So web apps, once you're up and run the Tomcat server, we can see this screen. Okay, here we can deploy the things. So there is an option called new deployment. Okay, we have to fill it. We have to upload the things actually. So then we can deploy it. So coming to servers, so we are just talking about this GUI, right? Mule Management Console. So coming to servers, so we have to add servers also again. So there is a standalone server. Again, we have to download it actually. That is a separate thing. So we have to download the server. Okay, standalone server we need to download it. That is a Mule Enterprise standalone server I have. So this is we need to download it. We need to keep the things under apps folder. Observe here, two things here. One is MMC provided by mulesoft itself. We have to keep it under Tomcat. We have to up and running the Tomcat. That time we can see this screen. Okay, this is a GUI. Okay, so coming to server. So if you want to run your application, some servers required, right? That server is nothing but a Mule Enterprise standalone server or else community standalone, whatever the edition you are using. Accordingly, they introduce that standalone server. In the standalone server, we have to keep under whatever we implemented the logic, right? That we have to keep under where in the apps folder. If you see here, I whatever we implemented that week one, so that I kept into the apps folder. So then again we have to run this separate. We have a bin is there, no? Under bin there is a startup is there. We have to run this one again separately. And again, how you associated with this, if you observe here, there is a MMC. In the MMC there is a servers tab actually. In the servers we can add a new servers. There is a button called add. If you click add, there is a new server, new clustering. Everything is it's kind of a single click actually. So it's a GUI, everything new server. Suppose you have a multiple servers, you want to implement as a cluster, then you have to choose the cluster actually, or else single server, add the new server. That time what happened, your standalone server is associated with your MMC, right? So the deployment and all happened through MMC only. So but what happened, that is internally it will go on deployed into the associated server actually. Understood, right? You can see the servers, and again you can see the logs and all in the specific server itself. This is a dev server actually. You can see the logs and everything you can see here itself. This is the way of deployment actually. This is the second way of deployment. And again, if we don't want this MMC console, simply we can deploy it in the standalone server. We can see the output also. That is a manual deployment. If it is here, if you use the tool, we can choose the GUI things, we can deploy it. Otherwise, if you don't want this MMC, you can go for only standalone server. Second thing, whatever you did, second thing, right? The second thing, we have to keep it your code under apps. Then we can up that standalone server. We can see the output. That is a ways of deployment. Okay. Am I answering your question? What was your question?
Like I want to migrate from previous version to new version.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. How easily can we go to that?
Yeah. Two things here actually. You are migrating in the sense, so we have to migrate these things also, MMC things also we have to migrate it, right? So we have to take the latest MMC, latest standalone server, we have to migrate. That is one thing. Coming to your application, suppose you have a legacy application, you want to migrate it to the latest. So while importing itself, it can take action, it will convert it actually. Suppose here import is there. So
Okay.
the import itself, so it's a two ways of import actually. One is it's kind of a normal external application. Suppose think like this, there is no POM file in your project. You are importing through this any point project from external location. Okay,
Okay.
once you take that project, so simply you can convert into POM project actually. There is a uh, Mavinize, Mule Mavinize. There is an option called Mavinize.
Okay.
Simply you can convert into the Mavenized project. Okay, the
Okay.
POM file will come, whatever the dependencies are there, you kept into the lib folder, right? Now all the dependencies you can push into the where pom.xml. So that is Mavenization conversion. Similarly, whenever you are trying to import it, right? So you are using a latest things, but that is legacy. That will itself, it will create alert actually. So you want to update the things like that, it will give alert. I was seeing that kind of alert. It will take
Okay.
care, it will give the whatever the things are new things, right? That advanced
Oh.
structure generated actually
Mm.
automatically.
Okay.
That is.
Okay.
And again, simple changes. Suppose here project.xml is there, no? Mule project.xml. Here also you can change the version.
Oh,
Suppose
okay.
you are using multiple version, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
how it will come here? Before that, here we need to add the server actually. Suppose in your latest version, now I am using 3.8.3. That is the latest. Okay, that too is enterprise. And again, coming to your, suppose you are using uh, old thing. Suppose here 3.3. Suppose you are using a 3.5, 3.6 like that. That should be there in a runtime, right? You understood?
Mm-hmm.
That should be there in a
Yes, yes,
runtime.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
If it is there in the runtime, that should display here also. You
Yes,
understood?
yeah,
So here
yeah.
just choose that. Whatever the latest thing is that, just choose that and again save it.
Mm-hmm.
So that will convert into latest version.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions?
Mm-hmm.
Salome, you are practicing. You are getting.
Yes, Venkat, I'm practicing Venkat.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So guys, any other questions? So we have 7 more minutes. So today whole thing is only questions. If you want to explain, we'll explain that. I will explain that exception handling. If you have any questions, we'll discuss. Okay, we'll go for X. Yeah. Any questions?
Venkat?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
Venkat.
please.
How it works with the TIPCO, Venkat?
TIPCO, no? That is also it's
Mm.
a drag and drop only. So we have a that.
Yeah, I know. I was working with the TIPCO.
Uh,
But even TIPCO people now, they are integration people, they are using MuleSoft or...
no, TIPCO itself it's a other ESB, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
How it coordinate with both in one like a system,
uh,
how it works like a TIPCO, either TIPCO or MuleSoft works, right? Either
it's a
anyone.
separate thing, na? Anyone, right?
Yeah, anyone it will use, but
Mm,
both can't use
no.
in one, like, you know.
Implementation wise, it's a different, right? So
Yeah.
you are talking about as a service like if you see Facebook or else Twitter and then LinkedIn, these people are all have a API. Currently working on TIPCO.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay. So there is one more legacy is that those are web methods. So all the web methods also converting into the MuleSoft actually. Existing web methods is there, no? That is related to .NET, right? So they are also migrating into the MuleSoft.
Okay.
So this talent and this Ansible, all these are like different kinds of integration tools or
To integration tools only. Talent is it's kind of what we call that is a MDM actually. It's a central database. Generally, we have a databases, right? Like Oracle, MySQL, like that. They have a whole client have one central database. That is MDM actually. So for talking to the MDM, so there is a way only the talent actually. So they have also this kind of features, drag and drop features. They will implement a flows. Okay, they will expose as a APIs. Okay, so from Mule perspective, whatever the exposed APIs will consume it, or else will if we expose it, they will consume it actually. So then they will talk to their central database, you can pull it, you can push the information like that. Similarly, there is an Ansible also, Ansible Tower. So Ansible also publishing APIs for creating inventories, for creating job template. So these are all published as a services. So we can consume it actually. Okay. So any other questions, guys? Okay, guys, if you have no questions, we'll wind up the session today. So tomorrow we'll start that exception strategy. Okay, now?
Okay.
Ramya, do you have any questions?
No, Venkat, I'm good.
So if you are practicing anytime, if you stuck anywhere else, please let me know and send a mail actually, that POC. I will correct it and I will send you. If you stuck somewhere else, or if you are unable to go next level, that is not deploying, so please let me know and send a mail. So I will respond in that mail. I will correct that issue what you did. So that I will reply back.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all. So we'll meet tomorrow. So we'll start that exception strategy.